When we mention Cupid, the image that often comes to mind is that of a cute, chubby little baby holding a bow and arrow, playfully acting as a matchmaker. But behind this mischievous image lies a deeper and more complex story. Who is Cupid really? He is the famous god of love. Why does he hold a weapon usually associated with war? What else do his arrows bring besides love? In this video, we will reveal the secrets to you. We will delve into the charming but sometimes puzzling myth of Cupid. Welcome to the enchanting world of mythology. Cupid, like many other figures in Roman mythology, is a familiar name. In Greek mythology, Cupid had a counterpart known as Eros. What makes Eros unique is the tale of his dual birth in the Greek creation myths. He was among the earliest primordial gods emerging from chaos, although not directly participating in the creation itself. His manifestation of love and procreation empowered Gaia, the earthly deity, to fashion and bring forth all known elements of our world. Alongside the many offspring that ensued, the original Eros was the paramount force. Without him, the other creations would have remained barren and sterile. Eros, the primordial essence, symbolized the foundational cosmic power of affection and longing, a force that intricately intertwined the universe. This incarnation of Eros bestowed blessings upon the union of Gaia and the celestial guardian Uranos, leading to the birth of the Titans, including the progenitors of the Olympian gods. Interestingly, the term erogenous derives from eros, meaning love, and genus, meaning creation. However, this marked the end of the story for the original Eros, unlike his divine siblings like the Graces and the Horae. The primordial Eros was never mentioned again. The next mention of Eros occurs when he is born or reborn to his mother, Aphrodite, the goddess associated with love, beauty, pleasure, and procreation. This version of Eros now embodies love and sexual desire more specifically. This incarnation of Eros bears a closer resemblance to the Roman Cupid, who you might find adorning greeting cards in your local store. In earlier versions, the father of the divine version of Eros is not clearly identified. It is believed to be one of three Olympian gods, Zeus, Hermes, or Ares. The most widely accepted theory is that Ares is his father, symbolizing the union of love and war. This might also explain why the weapon Eros uses to spread love in Roman mythology is a war instrument, the bow and arrow. It is generally agreed that Eros, known as Cupid in Roman mythology, had Mars as his father, who is the Roman equivalent of Ares. A lesser-known fact is that Cupid's arrows didn't only inspire love when they struck. This effect occurred only with gold-tipped arrows. Cupid's quiver also contained arrows tipped with lead, and a strike from one of these could lead to indifference or even hatred towards someone. As many of us are aware, the gods were capricious. Thus, when Apollo playfully mocked Eros about his clumsy handling of bow and arrow, Eros retaliated by shooting him with a golden-tipped arrow, causing Apollo to fall madly in love with the nymph Daphne. Daphne, whose name signifies laurel in Greek, was also struck by a lead-tipped arrow, which made her feel repulsed by Apollo. This led to Apollo persistently pursuing Daphne, while she continuously rejected his advances, unable to escape his relentless attention. Finally, in desperation, she prayed to her father Peneus, a river god, for assistance, begging him to save her. In response to her plea, Peneus transformed her into a bay laurel tree. The laurel tree, sacred to Apollo, became closely associated with him thereafter, inspiring artists in various renditions. As a cherubic child with tiny wings, he was celebrated as one of the most handsome gods, with radiant golden hair, shimmering gold wings, and a physique that could spark desire at first sight. Truly a stunning figure. This portrayal as a child gained prominence during the rise of the Roman Empire. Later, Christian artists popularized a more restrained depiction of Eros, seeking a chaste alternative to the overt sensuality. Interestingly, Eros is not the solitary ruler of love. He belongs to a divine cohort known as the Erotes, wind gods often portrayed as companions or attendants to Aphrodite, each embodying distinct aspects of love and longing. Among them is Anteros, often regarded as the brother or counterpart of Eros. Anteros represents love that is reciprocated, the kind of affection that is returned to you. Anteros was nearly identical to Eros, but at times he held a club instead of a bow and arrow, and had butterfly wings. While many stories in Greek and Roman mythology discuss Eros's impact on other gods, highlighting the numerous affairs and youthful indiscretions involving him and his brothers. Only a few tales focus directly on him, one of which is penned by the Roman author and poet Apuleius, where Cupid finds himself in a novel titled The Golden Ass. I'm not making this up in this story. We encounter a stunning mortal princess named Psyche. Her beauty was so famous that people traveled from afar just to catch a glimpse of her. This admiration was innocent at first, until people started comparing her beauty to that of Aphrodite, or Venus as the Romans called her. Rumors began to spread, saying that just as Venus emerged from the foam of the sea, Psyche was born in a similar manner, but from the earth. People began offering her gifts in the streets and praising her appearance in ways that were usually reserved for the gods. Venus was not pleased. Things took a turn for the worse when people, now mesmerized by Psyche's beauty, began to neglect the temples and altars of Venus. Venus, enraged by this, sought to set an example for everyone to witness. She summoned her son, Cupid, and commanded him to make Psyche fall in love with the most repulsive and unworthy creature. That night, Cupid sneaked into Psyche's bedroom. As he approached her with his arrow drawn, he was mesmerized by her beauty. In his astonishment, Cupid stumbled. The tip of his golden arrow pricked him, sealing his love for Psyche. Unaware of Cupid's visit, and despite her beauty and the admiration of many passers-by, Psyche was unhappy. She was the youngest of 3 sisters. Her elder sisters had found suitors and married, but no one had sought her hand in marriage. Her father, believing she had somehow incurred a curse, she sought counsel from the oracle at the temple of Apollo. The oracle prophesied that Psyche would never wed a mortal man, but would marry a mysterious creature instead. She advised the king to dress his daughter in funeral attire and take her to a nearby cliff, where the beast of prophecy would claim her. Following the oracle's instructions, the king took Psyche to the cliff's summit. Suddenly, a strong wind swept in, and Psyche found herself lifted and carried away by Zephyr, the gentle west wind. After a peaceful journey, she arrived in a grove where a warm breeze lulled her to sleep. Upon awakening, Psyche found herself at the entrance of a magnificent palace. A soft voice from an unseen presence welcomed her, saying, "Make yourself at home, Psyche." She enjoyed a luxurious bath followed by a sumptuous feast, realizing that the voice belonged to her new husband. Her husband explained that she could have everything her heart desired, but she must never seek to know his true identity. Each night, he visited her in the darkness. Over time, Psyche grew to love her husband, who appeared only under cover of darkness. Yet in the vast palace with only him for company, she grew bored. She pleaded with him to allow her sisters to visit, but he adamantly refused, deeply distressed by her request. He agreed that the gentle Zephyr which carried her also brought her sisters to the palace gates. Witnessing the grandeur of the palace, Psyche's sisters immediately felt envious. Consumed by jealousy, they began to sow seeds of doubt in Psyche's mind. They reminded her of the oracle's prophecy regarding marrying a monstrous creature. Skillfully, they convinced her to disregard her husband's singular request, asserting that he must indeed be a hideous beast. They planted the fear that her life might be in peril, advising her to prepare a lantern and a sharp knife. They counseled her that, should he prove to be the monster we suspect, she should end his life that very night. Torn between curiosity and fear, Psyche, while her husband slept, readied a lantern and knife. She gently illuminated his face, expecting to find a monster, only to discover the stunningly beautiful Cupid. Startling her with her revelation, accidentally she spilled oil from the lantern, waking Cupid. Realizing that Psyche had broken her promise, Cupid fled, leaving Psyche desolate and heartbroken. Meanwhile, Psyche's sisters, having planted seeds of doubt and fear, sought to take her place. Believing Psyche's husband to be a divine being, each sister devised her own plan to win his favor. They climbed up the cliff that had taken Psyche away, each hoping to be carried by Zephyr to that palace. However, their attempts to imitate Psyche's journey led to a tragic fall from the cliff, ending in misfortune. Back at the palace, their fate was sealed. Heartbroken, Psyche wandered the earth without food or water, seeking her lost love. She visited the temples of the gods, pleading for help. She even entered the temples of Hera and Demeter, asking for assistance. However, these goddesses said that although they were willing to help, they could not go against Venus's will, as Venus was pursuing Psyche. Venus was furious at Psyche for hurting her son, and promised all the warriors in Greece that if they could provide Psyche's whereabouts, they would receive 7 kisses from her, including one with a tongue. In the end, Psyche surrendered to Venus in her temple. Venus, with a cruel heart, told Psyche that if she was willing to complete a series of trials, she would forgive Psyche for her mistakes. Venus, determined not to keep her promise, devised a cruel test. She commanded Psyche to sort a variety of beans, lentils, and poppy seeds, along with barley and wheat grains, before nightfall if she wanted to see Cupid. A compassionate ant, moved by Psyche's plight, rallied its colony with unity. Together, they skillfully separated the grains, showing remarkable teamwork. Having achieved the seemingly impossible task, the ants vanished silently as they had appeared. Venus, naturally, was enraged that Psyche had succeeded in what she thought was an insurmountable challenge by the next day. Venus presented Psyche with yet another challenge, to cross a river and fetch golden fleece from fierce rams on the other side. Overwhelmed by this daunting task, Psyche contemplated giving in to the river's depths. However, the river, sensing her despair, offered guidance. It advised her to take refuge and wait until midday, when the gentle breeze would calm the rams into tranquility. Following this advice, Psyche patiently waited for the rams to calm down and fall asleep. When the rams became docile, she approached them cautiously and successfully collected the golden fleece without causing any threat. Undaunted, Psyche received a new task. She was ordered to collect water from a river surrounded by falling rocks and deadly snakes. Such a task seemed impossible for any mortal. However, at this critical moment, the supreme god of Greek mythology, Zeus, was moved by Psyche's plight and looked at her compassionately. He sent an eagle to help Psyche fetch the water. The eagle flew to the river with ease and brought the water for Psyche. Despite this, Venus was still not satisfied and proposed a final and most dangerous task to Psyche. This might be a good time to perform a simple ritual to please the gods. If you find this story interesting, remember to give it a like. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notifications. For her final mission, Psyche was tasked with journeying into the daunting depths of the underworld to retrieve a golden box. This mystical container held a fragment of Proserpine, the underworld's goddess of unparalleled beauty. As Psyche embarked on this perilous journey, she encountered a towering structure that served as the gateway to the underworld. This tower, almost sentient, offered guidance on navigating the dark realm and locating Proserpine. She was instructed to appease Cerberus, the 3-headed dog guarding the entrance, with a honey cake. Additionally, she had to pay Chiron the ferryman to cross the river Styx. The tower also warned her against consuming any food or drink in the underworld and advised her to ignore the pleas of the deceased. Following the tower's directions, Psyche found herself in the grand palace of the underworld. Adhering to the tower's counsel, she resisted the allure of comfortable seats and tempting feasts offered to her, choosing instead to sit on the floor and eat a simple crust of bread. She brought Venus's request to the queen of the underworld, Proserpine, who graciously agreed to her request, pouring her beauty essence into the golden box and giving her a task. It seemed the task was completed, and Psyche rose from the underworld with the mysterious box. However, curiosity and the ever-present force within her began to torment her, and in the end, she could not help but secretly open the box, the result of which shocked her. The box did not contain beauty, but a dark mist that enveloped her in a deep sleep. Meanwhile, Cupid had recovered, and his love for Psyche was so strong that he could not ignore it. He found Psyche, who was sleeping in the underworld, quickly closed the box, and awakened her with sincere love. Cupid handed the box to Venus, completing Psyche's task, hoping to end their tribulations. Cupid asked Zeus to end the trials imposed by his mother. Zeus agreed, but with the condition that in the future, Cupid was called upon by Jupiter to lend his aid in matters of the heart, and in a divine assembly, he offered not only his assistance but also his charm. Venus, under Jupiter's instruction, asked Psyche to relinquish her suffering. Psyche was then given ambrosia, the elixir of immortality. Upon drinking this divine potion, she transcended her mortal form and became a goddess, her soul finally united. In a celestial ceremony, Cupid and Psyche's love blossomed even more brightly. Together, they welcomed a child named Voluptus, which means pleasure. And so, as the tale goes, they lived happily ever after. This story is rich with symbolism and profound meaning, like a beacon of aspiration, symbolizing an infatuation with physical allure and psyche, embodying the essence of the soul and inner beauty in the voyage to the underworld, illustrating the exploration into the depths of the soul and the metamorphosis it sparks. Cupid, or Eros, transcends his typical portrayal as a mere matchmaker. His legends offer profound insights into the human experience, touching upon themes of love, longing, growth, and transformation through his tales. We find echoes of our personal odysseys. The challenges faced by Psyche mirror our own quests for self-discovery, and Cupid's whimsical yet profound actions serve as a poignant reminder of love's pervasive influence. What else can be woven into this narrative? Share your thoughts below. If you're eager to delve deeper into the realm of mythology, don't miss our upcoming videos.